respect to everybody listening. Real radio, real radio, real radio. All right, boom, yo. I just want to tap in and tell you that you ain't shit. We all ain't really shit, literally and figuratively. I'll prove that in this quick dissertation. But boom, so come out of our mother's vagina, right? Where is that place at? Right. So you all come from the belly. We're gestated in the belly, and then we come out the vagina for the most part, unless it's a C-section, Caesar section. But other than that, where nature pushes us to come out to the vagina, right? So where's the vagina located? It is located right next to the asshole. And that's why we ain't shit. Like the comedy of how our anatomy and how our body is structured, we just take it as for granted, like, all right, that's how it's supposed to be. But what this quick conversation is aimed at is to get you to think outside of your box, outside of your square circle, outside of your human existence, and think from a different dimensional level, a different reality level, right? So if you're doing that, then you could look at the existence itself, like, damn, why is it like this? Why is all this shit going on? This, that, and the third. But the place that we give birth from is right next to the nastiest place in our body, where we put our excrement at. So think about like the intelligence that created this design of the body and where things go in the brain and the heart and the chakras and this, that, and the third. It's like, yo, why would you put you know what I'm saying? Why would you put the place that we're meant to be born from, which should be an illustrious place, it comes from the bottom part of our spine, the bottom part of our body. I mean, technically the middle, but the bottom part of our spine, our root chakra, where we take where we shit and piss from. And mind you, shit and piss comes out of two different holes. So you know what I'm saying? Intelligence that built this is showing us that this is a huge joke. In that we ain't shit. Because you're not, there's urine therapy and all of that, fine. All right, fine, urine therapy maybe. But when it comes to taking a shit, it smells like shit. It attracts flies. Yes, we use it in nature, in symbiosis with nature, and you could take a shit to create, a fertile soil and stuff like that. But you ain't eating your own shit. Something else does. And that's the cycle of life. And that's like the Ouroboros and the circles and the torus that I'm showing you here on the screen. Not Taurus the sign, but the torus field that we all have around us, the electromagnetic spectrum that we have around us that flows within us and throughout us. But again, the body itself, like, just tells us that we ain't really shit, right? So to come out of our mother's vagina and the amount of pain that comes with that, it's like, as soon as we get into this bitch, this is pain. As soon as we get into this, you know what I'm saying, this place is pain for our mom. We're literally a pain in the ass. Literally and figuratively, we are a pain in the ass. Because we come right next to our mother's ass, the vagina opens up, and then boom, here we go. We're a baby crying and screaming and looking for shit to, get into. Or eat, or whatever, you know what I'm saying, to take from. So there's the anus, there's the vagina, and then even when we come, the seed that's spawned from penis is also right next to the asshole, right next to where we pee from. Hence penis, hence pissing, hence peeing. So again, something constructed this existence. And it is showing us that when we come here, we're pretty much coming into hell, coming into a hellistic state. Why? Because when you look at the root chakra, if you want to, tap into the chakra areas, the color of the root chakra is said to be what? Red. Where the fire and the passion and all of that stuff comes from. But yeah, literally, that's like where the shit comes from too. Like, so you could either be the shit or you could be a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like a huge paradox and conundrum that we're in. But I'm just pointing out the complexity of it all, but it's also very simple to look at. You know what I'm saying? Like that root. Why aren't we born from the brain? If you look at other mythologies, which is, stories of other people's myths and their specific history, like Athena, who was the goddess of wisdom, she was born from Zeus's head. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, Aphrodite was said to be born from sea foam. And not the mother's body. There's things that come from eggs and not actually like a cosmic egg. Um, Pegasus is born from Medusa's neck. So Pegasus that can fly is born from Medusa's neck. Medusa, the reptilian with the things around the head, or it's said to be the locks that come from the melanated woman, and all of that mythology, whatever. But the point is that Pegasus, which is the horse that can fly, is born from Medusa's neck after she's decapitated. So there's all kind of the Furies come from the blood of Uranus, just from the blood, and the blood is the life plasma of what we use on this planet. So you could be born, different ways. People come from, there was a Cabbage Patch baby that's born from a Cabbage Patch. If you look up the origins of where you can be born from, right? You can be born from many different places. But we're born from pretty much the asshole. That's why we call people assholes. You know what I'm saying? And then speaking of holes, we come from holes, right? So the penis has a hole in it, shoots out the vagina, boom, shoots out the sperm. The sperm goes into a hole, a deep dark hole, and then, but doesn't whole mean to be complete? But isn't a hole incomplete? Because if I put a big hole in the middle of your body, you're incomplete. If you have a house with a hole in it, and it's not where it's supposed to be, it's incomplete. If I take a piece of paper and put a hole in it, or I take a ball and put a hole in it, the ball is not incomplete. So again, the words are pointing us to certain things that, we could say fourth dimensionally, from a mental state, are allowing us to see where it's in plain sight, you know what I'm saying? But it takes a level of common sense plus intelligence plus just like satire and like, a comedic nature to understand like, yo, this shit is crazy down here, out here, around here, whatever you want to see it. You know what I'm saying? So then here comes the whole thing, right? So if we're coming from holes into holes, like to shoot from holes all over the place. Holes from the penis into the vagina. The vagina is a hole. We come ingestate in the belly, which can be considered a ball or a hole. And then we come back down a tube, which is a cylinder of a hole, back into the world, you know what I'm saying? Which comes out through the vagina again through a hole. So, but when you're in a hole, like you don't want to be in monetarily, you like, damn, I'm in a hole. You don't want to be in a hole when you go to jail. You don't want to be in a hole, but whole is still incomplete. Whole means complete though. So like we're whole and unified. You know what I'm saying? So the words are like, they point us exactly to what we're in, and they won't. The people may lie to you. The narratives may trick you, and the religions and all of that. But the words will show you exactly where the fuck you are, fam. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? It's crazy. Like, let's say that, we're in another animal being, right? As a human being. Just like we're looking for, or some of us are looking for the way out. And we're a very small physical function of the entire being that we're in, and we're in multiple beings, by the way. The similar way that you have trillions, if not an infinite amount of beings that reside within us, within you. They're called cells. So to the point of a cell, you get locked up, and where you at? You're in a cell. And then we have cell phones that have an infinite amount of things that we could do on there. And that's how that's growing to have its own like matrix of cells and cell phones, and we're in cellular bodies, and then it just gets like it spirals up and it spirals down. So the cell version, like Dragon Ball Z Cell, how we just came together with multiple things and became the perfect quote unquote cell. That's similar to what human beings are attempting to do with proper knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, overstanding, and even understanding, to know like, all right, this is where we stand at, and find a way out this bitch. Because clearly the being or whatever it is that we're in doesn't necessarily have our best interest in mind, whether it knows it or not. So the things I've seen, it seems to be like a serpent type of situation that we're in. It has reptilians and all that. So, but in charge of things that we have in our body. So if we tell everybody like, yo, it's time to work out, it's time to, do our meditations, we're gonna change our food, we're gonna breathe the air, I'm gonna go hug some trees, I'm going to focus on what I intake in my mind, body, and spirit, so on and so forth. You could change like the type of being that you are, quote unquote, your frequency or vibration. And when you do that, then you're able to, move on, because this shell of a body just dies and transforms, but you, quote unquote, will be something else. So this place called Earth, this universe or university that we're in, is teaching us different things. But are we learning, or are we just going through the holes as a whole lot of bullshit? You know what I'm saying? Literally bullshit. In and out of different beings, and we have no idea. And calling that being God, when that God doesn't even really realize that we exist. The same way that we don't pay attention to the mitochondria that's in our body, or the probiotics that's in our body, or the terrible bacteria that's in our body, or parasites and stuff like that. So what being done here is being done on multiple and different levels. So the words point us to that, because whatever intelligence is, or whatever are out there, are showing us exactly what's going on. So that's why there's like connotation with hell, and it's like magnetism to hell, and Satan and him running the planet and this and the third, or whatever, him running this realm, is true, because we come from the root chakra, through the balls, through the passion of Christ, through the passion of like sex. And then that sex is similar to Lucifer, where he entices or she entices you to do X, Y, and Z. Literally X, Y, and Z based upon the X chromosomes for the woman, the Y chromosomes for the man. So now we have the Zion, which is the Z of the heaven or hell that we attempt to manifest or live through here. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a ball of candles and wax, but it's up to you to figure out how to light it up. You know what I'm saying? I'm just providing a perspective, and the perspective is to me that, we ain't shit. But then again, shit grows wonderful jungles, and it's the foundation and the soil of all that we eat. It's just depending upon perspective. So again, honor and respect everybody listening. You know what I'm saying? Tap in. I appreciate your time and your energy for listening, and just think outside of yourself. You're way more than your name. You're way more than this place. You're way more than this earth. You're way more than all of it. Honor it all the way through. You know what I'm saying? But are you properly honoring yourself? When's the last time you spoke to your fingernails like, yo, good look, or your middle toe that you never really moved? When's the last time you gave it some love? So how could you expect God, or whatever you think the overall situation being would be, to appreciate you if we don't appreciate all of what we've already been given, even if it's a piece of shit? You know what I'm saying? So honor and respect again. Raw Radio.